Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today we're talking about acquisition and an interesting method, I think, to sprint test, and really dial in your acquisition cost so you can get things done faster. Everybody wants to acquire more of something. Let's find a better way to do that. I have a very special guest with me to break this down and figure out how you can do it in your business. Robert Brill, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.
I messed up already what you do, but tell me, what is sprint testing and where do we start with this?
So we're an advertising firm, and one of the processes we've pioneered over the years is this idea that you can spend very little money to understand a lot about your business. Because the truth is that every business under the sun is trying to sell you something, and no one wants to be sold to, which creates a bit of friction fundamentally. But literally everyone on this planet, what do we all have? We have problems. And so if you can understand the exact verbatim language that people are using to express the problems that your business solves for, that's a direct path to sales. So we do this sprint test. It's $900. It takes 2 weeks, which is relatively quick in the span of things. And you will understand at least one, if not 3 to 5 different problem statements that resonate for your business. And you will have ads that will result in up to 70, 80% lower cost per lead, which is what we're seeing on our ad campaigns. So this is a powerful process that is a launch pad for sort of exponential velocity for businesses.
Yeah, I'm curious to break this down too, because outside of the very specific words you use, like ad, leads, and marketing, I mean, it sounds like this principle could be used to really diagnose and cure any problem. So regardless of if we apply it to our acquisition cost or if we apply it to what we're making for breakfast, this seems like a principle we can expand to grow multiple areas of our business. And I find that fascinating. Is that a true statement though?
Yeah, it is. I mean, really fundamentally, you can test anything. What we're doing is taking $25 of ad spend to quickly understand whether or not something resonates with the marketplace. So you can do this for recruitment. We're doing this currently to recruit teachers. You can do this for B2B leads. You can do this if you're selling t-shirts. Because fundamentally, everything that we're doing has this sort of language that will resonate with people. And we don't just make up the language. We go to Reddit, we go to X, we go to very niche forums, we go to AI. We want to, most businesses understand conceptually the problems that they solve for. We want to go a step further and understand the verbatim language. And when you get that authenticity out of that language, it really makes a huge difference in the engagement you get. And that engagement drives lower ad costs. That then drives your ads being delivered to more people, which drives lower lead generation or customer acquisition costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, okay, let's pretend we're right at the beginning. I'm coming to you. I want to sprint test. I want to figure something out. Where do you start in that process?
We have a 1 hour discussion where we go deep to understand who your customers are, why they're buying from you, what marketing has been successful or not successful for you in the past. Then we're going to do research. And the research is comprised of listening to sales calls if you have them, or going to Reddit, X, AI, niche forums. We're going to grab, when people are complaining about something, we want to look for those complaints, because in that you have the gold. Then what we're going to do is create 30 different problem statements. And in those 30 different problem statements, we're going to run ads with our methodology on Meta. Now, I just want to annotate something here. Your audience might be on LinkedIn, but the value in Meta is that it's a very low cost, relatively speaking, low cost platform to test. And then when you have your winning ads, your winning messages or problem statements, then you spend thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands on LinkedIn ads, because now you're spending ads, you're running the most effective ads that you have. So you do these tests, you have these problem statements. Let's say you have 3 to 5 winners. Then we're going to craft solution statements. For the problem that won, what is a solution that gets people interested in your product or service? We do sprint testing on those. And then we're going to take your images. You might have images, you might have video, and we're going to do the sprint testing on those. So this fundamental idea is that you're starting on each sprint test, by the way, is $25. So we're testing a total of 60 different elements, 6 different sprint tests. And at the end of this 2-week period, you're going to have one ad at least that is highly resonant to your customers. And that's the process. Now, if you want to continue, then you continue running sprint tests, you continue running ads to validate that that actual message is the most effective at generating leads or acquiring customers. And once it's validated over the next 2-3 weeks, then you start spending a ton of money to create velocity for your business to acquire more leads or more sales.
That's a fascinating process. Is there ever a point where this is going to sound like a stupid question? I already think it's stupid just thinking about it, but too much is too much is too much. Like, I mean, you can sprint test to death technically, but how do you know when to stop?
It's not the question fundamentally is, should you ever stop? The answer is no. You may not have the bandwidth to continue. You may be so busy with sales that it doesn't make sense to allocate any more energy to it. That's sort of like where we are right now. We've lowered our lead cost from $114 for our business down to under $27. So it's a 76% lower lead cost at scale, happening every day for months now. So the reason for that, so we're not going deeper into this. Like we're like, all right, we're busy. We have clients coming in, we have sales coming in, we have an irresistible first time offer, and our team is busy. Now, if we need to get more clients because we've hired 10 more people, that's when we crank up the ads and continue the sprint testing. But fundamentally, as a philosophy, the answer is you should never stop sprint testing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that makes complete sense. And like you're saying, well, you should hire your own company, because if you want to get it lower than 20, I'm just kidding. But yes, I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense. And obviously your conversions from that $27 lead is sufficient enough to be profitable. So you go until you need to stop. I hear that loud and clear. The other thing I'm curious about is, you said sprint testing lowers to lower your acquisition cost by 86%. That's huge.
Yeah.
What are the fundamental pieces of that you're seeing makes the difference in, I guess, just people? What do people typically do before they get to you? Are they just running ads and not testing anything, or what's making up that 86%?
Oh, so a couple things. When new clients come to us, they say we've been burned by another agency. They might say they don't know what they're doing. They might say we've tried to in-house it by hiring people off of Upwork and Fiverr, and there's no process. A big part of our success, just in aggregate, we've been on the Inc. 5000 and Financial Times 500 a total of 11 times as of 2024. A big part of our success, right? Because those are awards that are connected to business growth. The success comes from a great team, a senior team in terms of experience, but the most important is standard operating procedure. The ability for every individual on the team to wake up every morning and understand exactly what they need to do to succeed, so that when their day is over, they know they've succeeded at their job, which means that they're happier, they stay with the business longer, and they're more engaged in the work that they're doing. And they're also getting professional development. But going back to the sprint test, fundamentally, there's a few benefits here that are working really well. Number one, on our ads, we have a ton of engagement, more engagement than I've ever seen on our ads for our business on Meta, because our ads are asking a question or making statements that get people to respond. Engagement by itself is a proxy metric. It's a midpoint. It's like, I can't pay my bills with engagement. More engagement for what happens on Meta is, when you have more engagement, that tells Meta that people like what's going on your ads. When there's good engagement, Facebook lowers your ad costs, which means that every dollar gets you more ad impressions, which means we get in front of more people. So the validation of the engagement then says anyone who sees the ad, they're more likely to pay attention, which means in aggregate, our lead costs are lower. Another thing that has improved our lead cost is we stopped driving people to our website, which asks a total of like 7 different questions. And we're asking people on a lead form on Meta up to 15 different questions. And not just choosing your answer. It's some of them are open form. What is your biggest challenge? Tell me, explain. People are actively filling out this form, which means that number one, it was hard to get through. 15 questions is a lot. That means they're interested. That also means when I get on sales calls with them, I know a lot more about what they're trying to achieve, which means I can tailor my conversation to their needs. The aggregate of this activity creates velocity for our business. We create better automation because we know exactly what people are looking for all throughout the process. We also get our pitch down far more effectively because I'm having the same conversations over and over. And number 3, I can train people in my business to do the work that I'm doing as a CEO. So as you and I talked about earlier, it's not my job, it's my business.
Hmm. That's really interesting, and I want to dive deeper into the that second to last point you made about having people who are committed, qualified leads, some would say. But what's the balance there? Because you, it's what you're saying is twofold. I mean, you're significantly lowering the acquisition cost while also increasing the quality of the lead, and
Yes.
I think that sounds like a very hard balance because you do want the ad cost as low as possible, but at the same time, if you know you're going to make more because they're better leads, how do you help your clients determine what's a good sweet spot for that?
So for our clients, what we say is, it doesn't matter to me what your competitors are doing. It doesn't matter to me the lead cost you got in 2021. None of that matters. What matters to me is 2 things. Number 1, what does the marketplace allow today for your cost per lead? And number 2, what does the marketplace actually respond to? So when we run an ad or an ad campaign for a client, we are tuning for those 2 points. Whatever you're doing, there's a baseline. Your own, like my philosophy sort of in life, which is easier said than done. I want to compete with myself. I'm not competing with the next business over. I'm not competing with an executive who's, who may have like 5 boats or whatever. What I'm competing with is, am I doing better today in my head, in my soul, in my happiness than I did yesterday, a week ago, a year ago, a decade ago, right? I'm competing with myself. So that philosophy extends into a client. What are you doing today? How can you improve on it tomorrow? And we're looking for that 1% incremental improvement, because that's massive improvement. That's 3,700% improvement over the course of a year. So we start with a baseline. What is your lead acquisition cost or your customer acquisition cost for e-commerce, let's say today? What do you want it to be? I want it to be half. Okay, fine. Let's work to get it to half of where it needs to be. And we do that with the messaging, with the lead forms, with the dynamic creative composition that we deploy. So we just set a baseline and work to beat the baseline every day.
I like that. It's a good mentality, first of all, for everything, not just this. But the other question that comes up is for people who are hearing this and like, oh, this actually sounds like it could work for my business. Um, from the perspective of I've never run ads. When you work with those people, you want to establish your own baseline. I understand that, but as far as what's working and what's not, does that make things more complex, or does it hinder the process at all if someone's never run an ad or even posted on social media?
Yeah, it just means you have a longer journey. But
Mm.
as the old saying goes, every journey starts with the first step. So if you don't have a baseline, perfectly fine. A big part of the value on this sprint testing is to establish product market fit. Because if you've never posted on social media, or even if you have, but if you've never run ads, you don't know exactly what to say and how to say it, or how to even price your message in a way that's going to engage your customers to spend money with you. And then how do you do that at scale? How do you spend $1,000 this month and then 10,000 and then $100,000? So this sprint testing process, because it's completely iterative over time, you have the ability to mirror back to the marketplace the language that will resonate to the marketplace, which means more sales.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And the other thing that I'm curious about is I made the mistake in the beginning, right? I said split testing because that's the commonly used terminology. We're talking about sprint testing. Can you just explain for me the difference? Because split testing, people commonly think it's A/B test for whatever period of time. This sounds way quicker, way more focused, way more in depth. How do you view the difference between the two?
And way less expensive.
Yeah.
So the context would be, let's say you have, so sprint or split testing is usually 2 or 3 ads, ad A and ad B, and one of them works, one of them doesn't. The value of sprint testing is you're saying, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have 10 million ad impressions. If you have 10 million ad impressions, the question is, and let's say you have 10 ads, each ad gets 1 million ad impressions. Cool. What you're going to end up finding is that 1 or 2 ads are your best ads, but you only spent 2 million impressions on those ads, with and 8 million impressions on the bad ads. With sprint testing, you spend 40,000 or 50,000 impressions on all the bad ads, and you spend 9.5 million impressions on the 1 or 2 good ads. So you're already a step ahead because you're giving the marketplace the absolute best ad creative that you have at the moment. And it's cheaper, right? Because you're doing this in $25 increments. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars to learn that something isn't good. I want to spend $25, $30, $100 to learn that something isn't good. And by the way, there'll be a lot of failures. You're testing 60 elements. You get like maybe 5 to 10 total that are good. Maybe 5. Like, that's a very small percentage. So like, you could have spent thousands of dollars testing 60 elements. I'm spending far less.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too, right? To fail and to know what's not working quickly and efficiently. That's the whole goal. Let's get there as quick as possible.
Our general philosophy on that is, if you have media or marketing that's working, 80% of your budget should go there, and 20% of your budget should be spent on testing. Test the losers, filter out all the losers, grab the winners, have them compete with the best ads you have. And when you realize that it makes no sense whatsoever to keep running those other ads that you've been running, that's when you've proven that the sprint test winners now can compete for larger chunks of the budget. And that's how you iterate over time.
I love it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is that you can expand these principles to any area of your business, whether it's, you said the magic word, SOPs. It's obviously near and dear to my heart, but testing things quickly and efficiently is, I love the principles you're talking about here. They can build to become something really, really great within your business. So, Robert, this is a fascinating conversation. If someone wants to learn more about sprint testing and how they can turn that $900 into rock solid ads, where do they go?
Yeah. Brill Media is our site, brillmedia.co. You can also email me, robert@brillmedia.co, or send us an email, or connect with us on LinkedIn as well. We're everywhere.
Awesome. I love it. I appreciate it. And I love to end these episodes with a question. We believe at What If powerful questions get powerful answers. I'm curious, and you go through this process, you're obviously asking questions all throughout about what's working, what's not, why, and what can we do differently. For someone listening to this episode, what's the powerful question they can ask themselves if they're hearing about sprint testing for the first time, in order to approach their ads and their acquisitions in a much more efficient way?
What are the problems your customers are facing? What's the verbatim language your customers are using to describe their problems that you have a solution for? And the way you find that out is you go to Reddit, you go to X, you go to AI, you go to niche forums, and you look for the complainers. I hate it when boy, this thing really sucks. I cannot believe, I wish, I want, I need, I struggle with. Those are the statements.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good tip. Those are good questions. Robert, I appreciate you being here. This is a fantastic episode.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
For those of you watching, listening, wherever you are, first and foremost, down in the show notes, brillmedia.co. You can go and check out more on this, see if it's right for you and your business. But also make sure you subscribe. We want to have you back. We put out this content 5 days a week because we're crazy, but also because we want to help you grow your business and get to that next level, wherever that next level is for you. So subscribe, comment, do all those fun things. We'll see you back tomorrow.